the 26th, 2025. And Mary Dusina is here with us to talk about the cosmic skies, stress factors, Aries and Saturn. God bless it. What's up, Mary?
Blessings, audience. Thank you, Joe. Let's all take a moment, whether you've had someone personally involved, heard a story about a soldier of fate. Let's all take a moment, since Gemini is about the power of words and our breath and the spirit that we put into words, and let's bless, feel gratitude, homage, honor, and respect for all of those that served and gave the ultimate sacrifice. To me, Memorial Day is not necessarily a holiday we celebrate, but it's a holiday of remembrance, honor, and a salute. So to all of those that created memories, to all of those that are remembered in a memorial, honored type of way, blessings to your spirit, blessings to your loved ones on this date, May 26, 2025. I am honored to be able to put my breath and the words out there alongside the Almighty I Am to guide your soul and your spirit path, and for all of you that gave the ultimate sacrifice to be able to continue to comfort the loved ones that you left behind. So be it. Amen.
Amen to that.
It's a powerful time, my friend Joe. It's a powerful, powerful time. It's, thank God, truly, with all these astrological changes that have been talked about by bunches of wizards since 2023, 2024, about the big changes, that the harbinger year is 2025, and then it all kind of settles in the year of 2026. So I was talking with Joe before we went live on the air that astrology has repetitive cycles and timelines and reference points, that the last time this happened and when this happened before, and what you can look back on in your life, it gives you these forward and backward ways that when we look at the 12 signs that not only go around the great turning of the wheel, now we're at the third sign of 2025, which is Gemini, the third house and the third sign. Now we have these other planets that are moving at a slower pace than the sun, doing its thing about every, give or take, every 30 days, some 28 days, some 31 days, but the sun moves in that 30-degree cycle. So we talk about the sun and where it is because that's what's lighting up. The moon is the fastest moving luminary, changing signs every 2.5 days, 4 main phases a month. But the sun, our great star in our Milky Way system, the sun is what lets down the light. The sun is the golden, the moon is the silver, intuitive illumination. So the moon has to do with our moods, our feelings, our desires, and a sense of our longings. Longings of the past. Why did that hurt me? Why do I keep referencing that I'll be happy when? That internal stuff, the inner story, the backstory, that's more the moon. And the sun is like, let's get started. You don't like it, let's change it. What's the next step? And the phenomena that we have going on in the first part of 2025 is that we've got some sign changes that are happening that are shifting more into the electrical frequencies. What are you plugging into? Where is the currency flowing? Where are you being depleted? Where are you being revived? Just think about a plug that you put into the wall. The outlet in the wall is the yin. It receives the plug. So when we go into a lot of feminine yin signs, it's when we're more magnetic. When signs start predominating in the fire and the air signs, which I'm going to name, you're going to see what a cluster is going on right now. So we've got these shifts moving away from the last 3 years where we had a lot of Pisces and we had a lot of the yin energy going on, even the nodes. Now in January of this year, the nodes shifted. Aries, Libra. We've got a shift that happened in January. Pluto went into Aquarius. Big reference point. Huge changing sign.
That.
Yeah, and so it's still there. And so we've got Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is the transformer. Now let's go back just a little bit to our most recent full moon, the full moon that happened in middle May, the full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, sub-ruled by Mars. So this is only 2 weeks since that full moon in Scorpio. So Scorpio and Pluto are about showing us as of mid-May, this is what's troubling you. This is what, whether your corners of your mouth are going up, this is what's bothering you. This is what's underneath the surface. Scorpio is underneath the surface. It doesn't show it on its face. It's precise, emotional, and intuitive intelligence. It's Scorpio energy is like, here's the compass. We're showing you both the quicksand where you could sink. We're showing you an inventory of the relationships, the significant others, the friendships. And let's just separate those two words, relation dash ships, friend dash ships. Some ships set sail and they're with us for a while, and the ship moves on to another place, to another adventure, to a treasure hunt, to something that you've never explored before, but it's on the move. Other times the ship comes into harbor and we get off the boat and we may shop, we may explore, and then we get back on that ship with friends and relations, and it either takes us back to our original harbor, but at some point we anchor and we disembark the ship. So what do they call it when you get on a big ship and you go somewhere? A cruise. It's a Carnival cruise. It's a party cruise. It's a whatever. It's a Viking cruise line, but you're cruising. You're on the move and you're going over water. When you're on a jet, helicopter, airplane, you're in the air element. You take off from the earth. So what we've got shifting right now is the truth that needs to be told, the story that's got to come out, the words that must address certain situations. And with all this Aries-Gemini dance that's going on, along with the other air sign of Aquarius, it's telling us to listen more than needing to answer. Because the Pluto element in Aquarius, and it got lit up the strongest that it's going to get lit up this year, except when we have the full moon in Aquarius, which will hit Pluto once we're going through Leo this year. But the Pluto factor said in mid-May, I said, pay attention, address this, or there will be some consequences that come into your life vis-a-vis relationships, or you're running away and avoiding things in your own relationship with yourself, and where you might be condemning or blaming yourself, or beginning to be so used to a certain type of anxiety or stress that you're at a point of exhaustion all the time, and it's not just mental. We get to a point where we lose our sleep. We feel like we're on hyper alert, that famous fight or flight type of energy. Our shoulders are tense. We bend over from our neck going, oh, man, I don't want to get a hump back. We feel it in our lower back where we sit too long, and then we're up too much, and then we hit work really hard, and then we're just exhausted. It's almost as if we can only seem to get that good sleep if we're physically exhausting ourselves in order to what? Shut off the mind. Shut off the what if. What if this happens? And where does that go? And then what would I do then? And so the what ifs and the orbiting circles in going in opposite directions and never really meeting in the center can be where we get that magic of duality. And it's wonderful to look at options. It's wonderful to look at things from both sides and all four corners. I get it, but not to stay there. If you're looking at something, you're looking at all four corners of a room. If you're looking at the subdivisions of your chart, because we have all 12 signs, each month, new moons are a beginning. They're an invitation. This is where the energy is being lit up by the sun. So the sun right now went into the yang, masculine, air element, thoughts, beliefs, word power, casting intentions, self-talk, looking at, is my definition of faith. Faith is what we choose to put our belief into. I'm going to abide by that. That's truth for me. But people kind of forget when they hear the word faith, they automatically think it's going into just a spiritual component. It is not. If we're believing false things, if we're really wanting to believe in someone or something, and that ship has sailed, and it's not living up to what the promise was, or simply the ship has sailed, the lessons are there, the teachings occurred, and we have to let go. We have to wave bye-bye, because those lessons and those teachers and that experience did its job, even if we didn't get it our way. So the mid-month full moon in Scorpio was about not being attached to the outcomes. So I want what I want, you want what you want. We have a hope it'll be this way. But Aries now and all these other planets, the Aries and Gemini are stirring every single zodiac sign's zones. That's what it's doing. The world axis point is 0 degrees of Aries. At the end of March, we had Neptune, that which dissolves, that which can give us foggy thinking, brain fog, or, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Trying to be over analytical, searching, God, why is this happening to me? How do I get you involved in this, divine angels? Come help me. It's like shifting from worrying, which is the opposite of faith as a fuel, shifting from worrying and giving so much energy, exhausting energy, to worrying about the outcome, shifting more into a mode about, you know what, I'm here for bigger purposes than just that financial situation or just that single relationship with him or her or this or that. Why am I, as a creator, also one with the creator, as long as I have the breath in the earth body, why am I letting that have so much power in my life? So not to judge yourself, but to be able to speak and have conversations with the innermost part of you. You have to be able to rely and trust yourself before other people get involved. So Gemini says to us, we have to be able to not just be on automatic pilot with our self-talk. That good never happens to them, and never happens to me. And, I spent too much money there the other day, and boy, I really want that. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen for me. It's almost like we don't, not to pick on words, but the repetitive words that we have, the subconscious is just a recorder. So when we're getting into a habit, and we start to reset and renovate, just like people renovate an old building or redesign a house, we've got to renovate and reset and decorate from the foundation up within all the occurrences that have happened to us since childhood in this lifetime. And who knows? I'm certainly not the expert on it. The possibility of other soul experiences or walkabouts, as different indigenous cultures talk about, that soul is forever. The spirit of the divine is what allows us to be multidimensional on earth as it is in heaven. So when Pluto went into Aquarius earlier in 2025, it set the bar for we the people. It set the bar for we the people, and it's about moving the pendulum into more unification, congruency. It's eliminating the divisive energies in our life, Joe. It's removing those in our life that seek to debilitate, to constantly criticize, to come back with vitriol or sarcasm or disappointing us or promising, one thing and not living up to it. Because the highest aspect of Gemini, it's the swords and the tarot, it's the spades and the playing cards, and it's the power of the spoken word. It's in the people that you know in your life. And let's take you and I as a starting point. We have to discipline ourselves, Saturn in Aries, as of May 24th, 25th. We must now discipline ourselves to listen to what we're promising. Are we promising too quickly? Are we promising too much? Are we allowing for the unexpected factors that can come up? So if there was ever a time since 1996, the last time that Saturn was in Aries, not been in Aries and on the 0 world axis point since 1996, and it was there for 2.5, 3 years. So you look back to 1996, and what important things came into your life as our new soul lessons, graduations, teachings, what we allowed ourselves to walk away from, rise into, commit to, rise above from, like instead of, even if people betrayed us, even if people weren't fair to us, how did we bounce back? And as they say, get up again, get in the saddle again, and keep going forward. So this is a very rapid fire, intense cycle. Gemini and Sagittarius are the fastest moving energies of all 12 zodiac signs. And so this beginning point, new moons are beginning points, is in the third sign of the natural zodiacal order from 1 to 12. This is number 3. And so this has to do with the community that you choose, the tribe of personalities and peoples that you feel comfortable with. Who is your brother? Who do you feel is a sister? Who is your soul kin? It may not be blood family. It may not be the marriage you used to have. It may not be the neighbor you used to have. But when you look at what's orbiting around you, the animals, the people that are actually in the vortex, in the portal of where you're currently residing, the kind of car you're driving, these are all third house things. The people that inspire you, whether you're in a really funny mood, and the people that help you toss your hair back and laugh, or the people that help and come in with, you know what, don't let that weigh you down so much. Heaviness will invoke a different type of stress. So Gemini is about say what you mean what you say.
Well,
and when Saturn went into Aries, just a couple days ago, when it went into Aries to stay there for the news cycle for the next 2.5 and 3 years, there's two things we've got to talk about tonight. We've got to talk about the next 28 to 30 days stimulus, which is the new moon in Gemini. And we talk about significators or rulers of certain signs. So Mercury is very talkative and chatty and has curiosity. Gemini is all about curiosity, and it's all about innovative strategies and sales and how can I put it to where people will understand me, and who is it that really lights my fire when I hear them sing or speak, or how they dance or how they move or how they drive. And how am I driving lately? Am I Aries aggressive and impatient? Or am I finding that I'm always running late because I'm letting so much get in my schedule and on my plate? Gemini creates almost too full and too crammed of a schedule. And when we book things too full on a certain day, let's just take a certain day, we're not allowing for if we run late, if they run late, if we need to stop and get gas, or there's something you got to get at the store. And if anything, if our get our schedule's too tight under Gemini, then all those appointments, all those promises, everybody's going to start to get irritated because you're late for that and them because you overbooked. So this is not a time to overbook. This is a time to allow. A lot of people I've noticed online have been saying, is there Mercury retrograde or something? It's just like I'm exhausted, and then I don't get my sleep. I lay down to sleep. I fall asleep on the couch. Then my eyes are blinking between 2 and 5 in the morning. And then all of a sudden I should be sleepy at 7, and I'm still getting up. And it's not just to get up to go to the restroom. So it's about the overthinking component. It's about the overprocessing and overanalyzing component. But this particular new moon, it's busy, it's crowded, it's a time for magnificent opportunities rather than internal obsessions. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is what we call it cazimi. At a new moon, the sun and moon are side by side. The inner and the outer are like, yep, we agree. This is the emphasis point for the next 28-day lunar cycle. 2 weeks from now, we'll have another full moon. 2 weeks from now, we'll have the Sagittarius full moon. So the new moon is saying, get a strategy, just start something. You don't have to finish it. Gemini is very similar to Aries. Begin it. Make one step. Just, if you don't want to write the book, if you don't want to, wax the car, if you don't want to change the job, then come up with a strategy of something that is appealing to you creatively, mentally. There's got to be some kind of a mental stimulus rather than just an analytical circus when it comes to Gemini, because Gemini can also be too many words, not enough action, and Aries is all about action. So what we've got for the next 2 weeks is an Aries-Gemini cosmic sandwich, and it's saying to you, here's the meat and potato. Here it is. Here's your meat. Here's your French fries. And you want to put hot sauce on it? Do you want jalapeno peppers on it? Do you want relish on it? Do you want chili on it? What is it that's going to take to be so uniquely different that it's satisfying to you enough to motivate you? Because humans we're like these creatures of habit. We don't tend to trust emotional and psychological changes too readily. It's almost like we wait for that other person in our life, that lover, that attraction, that boss, that somebody else that we can say, well, they did it, they started it, it was because of them, all I did was react or respond to it. Gemini is about, and Aries certainly is about, be bold enough to take the energy components and the responsibility of what it is that you want to change. And it starts with an idea. It starts with a why not. And Aries Saturn and Neptune are both in Aries right now, as well as Chiron and the nodes. I've got the North Node bouncing around. Our karmic teacher, the classroom, our psychology class is Aries right now. So Aries is about, what are you bitching about all the time, and yet you're not doing one single thing to change it. So Gemini is the change that we seek, and it's like when Gandhi said, be the change that you seek. That ties in with the Aries factor too. But this is going on globally. There's so much coming at us so fast. It's almost, a lot of people I'm talking to is like, look, I don't want to do TikTok. I don't want to do Instagram. I don't watch the news. I don't give a damn anymore. There's a rumbling. There's a volcano. There's a very Aries type of energy of like, I have got to back off from just that and just escaping with social media and my video games and the music. And I need to be physical. I need to wax the car. I need to, vacuum the car. I need to declutter.
That's a lot of
my
sixth
home.
house stuff, isn't it? Like the physical, or because there's.
Well, Jim, it's the realm of ideas. It's going to be the sixth house. It's certainly more of a sixth house type of influence for people that have Capricorn,
right.
Sun, Moon, or Rising, which we'll get into. But Gemini is more about if you're frustrated, if the Aries is frustrated, because Aries is like, okay, it's time to deal with your anger. Got to manage your anger. If you're not liking how it's going, is the fire burning inside of you and beginning to burn you up, and you're getting burnt out? It's fire. Aries is fire, and it's like, are you burning yourself up, man? You're like, running yourself on empty? What fuels you now? Gemini is the inspiration to say, why am I thinking that it only is going to stay this way? It only can be this way. What about me isn't getting the lofty inspiration to be able to believe in better, different, creative? I have options. I feel like if we can put that into a higher echelon, if we look at the fact that our real parent, our real father is the Almighty I Am. It's the Father God. So if Earth is our mother, Father God, it's like our DNA is magnificent. Our DNA, and whatever supernatural energy said, let there be light, let there be life, and breathed life into us. Whatever your religious components and beliefs are, something sacred and supernatural. And we can debate the details of it all day long. Yeah, no thanks, not me. That's boring to me. I just accept the fact that I've watched things die. I've watched animals and people die. I've been a death doula and sat by their side. I've watched that last breath go. So when there is the breath, when there is the living breath, to me it's an automatic reminder that I have supercharged DNA. I am a creator. I was formed by the Creator. And for me, if I call in the Greek word pneuma, then that's the spirit, the essence, for me, the Holy Spirit. So when I put the divine as my director, when I put sound and I cast words using that sacred breath, there's life. Now the responsibility comes to me as to what kind of words I'm familiarizing myself with, or I'm kind of trapped in. What are the criticisms you give yourself? Do you give yourself enough compliments? Get to a point with Aries that you don't feel validated just when other people recognize the good qualities that you have, the good job that you did. You don't do a job just to get it over with or done with. You do it as if it is like you're a Buddhist monk in a temple or in the Himalayas. This is the task at hand. It will afford you discipline. It shows that you will actually attend to the duty, and it's something that's keeping the mind busy from the reckless chatter, and you're physically doing something that improves the place, whether it's a sand mandala or cleaning the temple or whatever it is, getting things off your to-do list and your chore list, doing that with a sense of the joy of life, or this is what I'm going to do today. And you know what? All you got to do is find out somebody left the planet and died suddenly within a car crash or way too young to pass away. In my area, there was a girl that passed away that's just 16 that really engaged the whole town. She had her third bout with a rare brain cancer.
Oh,
She passed away May 22nd. It has riveted the whole county. She has become an earth angel and an icon because of her bravery and her sweetness. She never once slipped into poor me, why is this happening to me, God? That's phenomenal to me. She certainly would be allowed to have those feelings and those emotions. Yeah. And so, my good old mama, whenever I'd start to grumble and complain about something not happening fast enough, or why did that happen, and I didn't get why did that happen? It looked good, and then it fell through. And she said, there is always somebody doing better than you, and there's always somebody doing a lot worse than you.
That's a fact.
Find your happy ground. Find your happy path. And don't give the promise of your happiness. People like to be control freaks. I don't let other people be in control of my states of being, my states of happiness. I enter the room aware. Enter the room not to fight. I enter the room not to control. Whatever restaurant or store or whatever I'm entering the atmosphere of, I understand going in, and this takes decades of training, I understand if it's manifesting in my world, I have the responsibility to look at, do I continue to want to learn my soul lessons through this or that, or am I done with it that way? And I can move on to something that is more in the subdivisions of harmony and prosperity.
Doesn't it seem difficult, like, at least it has been for me. I know this whole like Pluto thing in Aquarius is all about. I believe it's all about like individuation, and individuation is hard, Mary, when you're coming up against culture. I think Terrence McKenna said culture isn't our friend sometimes, right? So I think that might be why a lot of people just don't take action, because they don't. At least I could say in my case, like, I know I need to take action on a lot of things right now, but it just seems it seems like not a person, but like culture isn't your friend. So I guess what you're saying is be more assertive as to like what you need to do, and is that what you're saying?
Be more assertive. Be more of a director, and be assertive in commanding,
right, with
your words and your breath, what you allow to be in charge. So Aries is the battle. And if the battle doesn't always mean you have a fight. The battle is, I'm not letting society dictate what's cool and what's not cool for me. I don't give a damn if somebody's on the left or right. I don't limit and define myself in categories. I'm ever evolving. I'm willing to learn. What served me is my lessons and my guideposts and the teachers that I listened to, the podcast and the books that I read and the things that I've studied and those skill sets I've got in my life tool belt. They don't own me. They're tools. And if I want to put that on the shelf and say that's been really good for a long time, that served me well, I helped a lot of people with it in my teaching and my studies and all that, but that was then, and this is now. Aries and Aquarius, the A-team as I call it, they're very present. They're very much, they remind us to be in the now, not this Thursday with what we've got coming up. And if Thursday and what you've got on your schedule is an appointment or a hopeful thing or a dread, whatever's coming up and scheduled on Thursday of this week or any week, if it starts to be a little taunt or haunt in the mental world and the self-talk's going and the thoughts, even though we don't put words to them, those thoughts are words too, where we're reading them, that we're hearing them inside our head, the inner battle. So instead I say, whoa. Let me take control and take a minute and say, Almighty I am. I now allow and receive divine alignment. I call for harmony of the highest order. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. God, thank you for the light on whatever is happening this Thursday. I accept it. I give you the direction and the control of it. If we would put words, affirmations, intentions, and state what we know are the words that's the win-win no matter how it goes, then our self-talk and our worry thoughts and our anxiety gets blocked from infecting the very thing that we're going to on Thursday. Is probably the best example I can give you. So I had to retrain my automatic pilot, and I do it all the time, no matter how many times I've done it before. If I find myself starting to go, oh boy, I didn't see that one coming. Oh boy, how's that going to go about him or her and all that? And it's just like, whoop, I don't need to know the details. I don't have to get into it. Could go one, two, or three ways. I know me. I trust my higher self. And so if it's beginning to give me a little bit of, scary clown, I don't like that. I don't want that. That starts to control the mood, the energy, my vital life force currencies. It starts to affect my energy system. So I halt it because I'm the director, and I give it back to the ultimate creator because that's my father. And I call for that alchemy of the DNA that is absolutely unlimited and pristine in my body as long as I'm supposed to be here. So I level it up. But it's my responsibility to call it into action. Mars is the action that we take. Mars is in a yang fire sign right now. It's in Leo. Whenever things start to get along in air and fire, there's holy smoke. It can be as dark as anything outside, but if you've got a torch, if you've got a campfire, if you've got a ceremonial fire, the energy shifts. The energy shifts. You smell the smoke. You're putting frankincense tears. You're throwing in tobacco. You're doing all kinds of harmonious things with the fire element, the fire essence. It's comforting, like sitting by the beach or looking at the full moon across the water. Fire has its own ability to let you look at what warms you, what makes you feel safe in the darkness. And the smoke, the smoke that's going up from the incense or the candle or the ceremony or the fire shows us visually our breath, which is invisible. Sometimes we can smell people's breath, but it's pretty much invisible. You can feel the wind. You can kiss someone and feel the breath coming at you. You can exchange your breath with another person. You can, blow out the candle. You can feel it, but it's pretty much invisible. And so we're working with the upper energies. We're working with ether, the air, the heavens, the energy of the cloud beings, where storms and the wind and breezes, and how we see shapes in the trees or the clouds because of the wind and the air element. And the air element and the wind is also what we're inhaling. We're giving life and permission to be in our world, and what we're exhaling and what we're saying when we're putting the words out there. And this is the time to monitor our thoughts and to course correct, because Mars in Leo is getting along fine with all this Gemini stuff. I mean, it loves it that Mercury's right next to the sun. And you'll hear fancy words from other astrologers like Mercury is Kazemi with the sun. That means the sun is lighting up Mercury. Or they'll say it's combust. The sun is combusting Mercury because it's so close. Mercury's in charge of this new moon. Mercury's in charge because Mercury rules Gemini. And each month, the new moon, the moon and sun come together in a different zodiac sign. The next new moon will be in the water sign of Cancer Moonchild, and it's all about our emotions and our feelings. Right now, how's your mind doing? How are you thinking? What are you giving life to with your words? Are you exhausted? Are you sleeping? Are you prioritizing time to decompress? And if you're not, then get your ass as busy as you can get and just wear yourself out physically. The other day, my mind, I got into 2 cars, and I got the leather conditioner, and I got the shop vac out, and I physically vacuumed the cars, and I polished the tires, and I washed the dog cover I just wore myself out. And at the end of it, it's like, oh, I feel that, and I feel good too.
That's good, yeah.
Because sometimes you need that. I don't care if it's an old car. I respected that I keep that car looking good. I did that black leather.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that because I felt like the other day before I went to the hospital, I felt like, you remember in Forrest Gump, and he was like, I don't know why, I just took off running. That's what I felt like.
Yep.
Like I just need to run, or something.
Well,
everything you're saying
term
makes a lot of sense, for sure.
I like that term that you used because all of us have had and used a washing machine. Fancy one, basic one, and there's times when it starts going boom, 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 and it stops running correctly because the load is off balance. It'll say load off balance, redistribute the clothing.
Yeah.
And it's all soppy wet, and it won't spin, it won't rinse. It's like, ugh. And you got to get in there and you move all that around because you got in a hurry and you didn't balance the load, balance the tires, balance the load. You overwhelmed this symbolic thing called a washer. So it couldn't do its job and get the dirt clean and get it rinsed properly with whatever you were washing it in. That's the same with our aura. It's the same with our mind. When's the last time we cleaned our thoughts? And even biblically, it talks about, what you put your eyes onto and into has life. Why? Because the eyes are the windows of the soul. And maybe we're not saying the words or whispering the words, but everything you read, everything you watch, I've got a different kind of concern about these AI descriptions of the zodiac signs and Grok and the AI. A lot of people are finding a fascination about, I made myself an AI character like they're doing with avatars for a while. And it's like, that's a whole new way of tracking you. That's a whole new way of having your little invisible friend.
It's kind of conflicting, too, in this day and age of information. If you scroll online, everybody's looking for, I think we as humans, we like simple explanations to things. So we get online and we're like, I'm in this category or I'm in that category. They did this because they're this kind of person and I'm this and I need to do that. And it's like, it's almost like we're letting the machine tell us what to do when we have this Pluto and Aquarius going, but you're an individual. You decide on what you do and balance yourself out and all that stuff.
If we let ourselves get too robotic and we let ourselves get too controlled and programmed, then we're losing the essence of the most pristine jewel that we have, different than robots, different than Teslas and robotics and the wonderful things it can do with surgery, the different kind of robotic surgeries and all that, so it's less invasive for the human body. The diamond, the Merkaba, is the ever-moving present soul, the spirit, the essence. And so our uniqueness and why aliens want it or predators want it or everybody seems to want to be sniffing out to control the soul, and it's why there's so many attacks on children, by predators, prodigious type of people, because it's an innocent lamb. It's like they could buy any kind of prostitute, any sex, any gender with, plastic parts and Botox this and Ozempic that. People can go out now. The sexual revolution has happened, and people can go out and experiment and do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. So I find it fascinating, and only of the darkness, that they would want to take whatever their little fetish is and go find some innocent child and try to invoke it and push it on them in an aggressive predator type of way. We're either understanding that we've got to look at what we're hunting for. How are we hunters? That's the Aquarius Aries type of combination. What is it we're searching for? But let's use the word hunter. We're hunting. We're searching for answers. It's not necessarily we're hunting to kill, but we're hunting to want to find, where's my cave? Where's my food? What fuels me? What titillates me? Where do I finally feel relaxed? We can plow through people all day long, but it's not going to give us the answers that our soul is saying. You came here for a purpose. Stop forgetting that you are spirit in a type of earth temple body. You came from spirit. You are one with spirit. Now, Creator gave us choice. I can let my spirit be evil and self-entitled and use my intelligence to bewitch and beguile and to dominate and obsess and make people obsessed with me and possess them with my will. I've made a choice to use it for the darkness, and that will come back to me. Or I've got a choice of saying, I'm not going to let other people's icky, sticky, psychic darkness get into me. I have to be disciplined and very aware of what kind of atmospheres I go into. When you start really working with amplifying the highest parts of your aura and your chakras and your chi and your prana, you are elevating, and the darkness sniffs that. Now, that's not something to be afraid of, but you have to understand that spiritual isn't just woo-woo happy all the time. Oh, I'm light and love, and I love everyone. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you won't. You can have a love for humanity, but you're going to meet resistance. You're going to meet envy. You're going to meet people that want what you have, and they don't want to do the work. And you're going to meet people that want to take the easy way out. And instead of you and I going and buying, the podcast or the actual tangible books, yeah, that's old-fashioned now. Who wants to have a book? When I buy it, it's mine, and I can read it at my own pace. And if the grid went down, I got my book. Glad I've got the books that I bought. Or now you can go to Grok, or now you can have AI, pull it up on Meta AI or Chat GPT, and you create all these fantasies. It's going to tell you what you want to hear. because it wants to beguile and seduce you. Come into the realm of the matrix. Yeah, that's right. Come over here. I'll tell you how you are. I'll tell you what your horoscope's going to be. And you're not really connecting with a spirit in a body. You're not connecting with maybe the hospital, the doctor, the nurse, the physical therapist, the astrologer, the voice on the phone. You're just allowing this social media thing to connect you into being a robotic recipient and not letting your feelings come up. Human to human, human to earth creature, human to nature invokes very healing, viable solutions. You're not going to find it seeking society's approval. You're not going to find satisfaction by somebody else's opinion of you overriding what you know yourself to be. You know your feelings. You are searching for either the light or for the darkness to grant you an easy way out, but there's always a price. And Gemini says, oh, I can sell you. I can market this. Oh, I can get you some money. I can give you a great idea. What's your intention? What's your end game? What's your goal? What's your goal? What do you want to do? And do you care if other people get satisfaction for whatever you say or what your product is or what you're selling? Are you just going to get them moist in the beginning and just dry up and go away like a tumbleweed? And these storms that we're having, this solar maximum cycle that we're in started late last year and is amping up. We're in the 11-year solar maximum, and these solar flares and these coronal mass ejections that's going on and the fiercity of these dust storms that are coming. We've already got a first hurricane. Hurricane season starts June 1st. We've got something already rolling off the coast of Africa. They're talking about, the technical term they used was the haboob, and it's like these huge dust storms that come way over from the Sahara. That's coming through. I know all of you have noticed how many plane crashes and helicopter crashes we've had.
They call it the haboob? Is that what it's called?
The haboobi, yeah, the haboob. The haboob, H-A-B-O-B, H-A-A-B-O-O-B, haboobi. It's the Egyptian, Middle Eastern name for these wild, they're very familiar with it over there in that side of the world. Where yeah, the haboobi, or some of them say the haboobi or the haboob. And it's like, just Google it and look up massive dust storm names in the Middle East and you'll find it. They pronounce it differently. But it's like over there, I had somebody that came into a metaphysical store that I was working in, and she had lived over in Morocco, and she said that name, and I said, what is that? I've never heard that. She goes, oh, the way you guys deal with thunderstorms and hail and stuff like that. She was this really elegant black woman, and she said, we have the haboobs. And I said, I don't know what that is. I'm just a Tennessee girl. I don't know what that is. And she goes, that's our word, our language. She said they can be killer dust storms. They come up, and you better run and hide your eyes and get the camels and the animals in, because it literally is like little tiny knives going all over. It gets in your skin pores, and it will dry out your eyes. And she said it's a different kind of monster of the weather. And I said, wow. And I think it was like 1999, 2000, but I learned that. Well, they just talked about it on the Weather Channel the other day, and I'm like, oh, I remember that woman that told me about that. So for me, that brought up a memory of Morocco and these dust storms, and how the camels, can sense it come. Like sometimes dogs can sense a thunderstorm's coming, and cats will run around and get the zoomies right before an electrical storm. Well, that's what they have to watch for over there in those desert cultures. And so they're pretty rare, kind of like every 7 years we get the cicadas up here in the Smoky Mountains. Like they come out, it takes 7 years for them to come out. This is also a cicada year. So we've got these, I look at these nature signs, and what's different? Is it a prolific year for ticks or snakes? Those are kind of like different kind of nature totems to say, yeah, it's a different kind of year. Pay attention to what's speaking with Mother Nature.
Lots of snakes I've seen lately.
Yep, yeah. We've got the copperheads and the moccasins and all kinds of stuff. And, well, of course, Ellie Mae here. I've got the family of skunks, and the baby raccoons are coming, and the deer are still coming out of the woods, and the wild turkeys. So I'm good. I've got all kinds of things moving around here that the snakes are like, oh, God, it's too busy over there with Mary's Nocturnal Buffet. Just go to the next yard. So, I've got the critters, and I know chase that off. So we're in a cycle now that you've got Pluto in Aquarius, and that's the, if you will, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and that's the long-range wind. That's us not being bewitched by the fantastic aspects of the internet and Wi-Fi and and virtual reality. There's a reason they call AI artificial intelligence. It's a temporary buzz. It's a convincing in an electronic kind of way. Well, electronic and Wi-Fi and X-ray and all those invisible forces, that's really Aquarius stuff. It's the alien connection. I absolutely believe that the cover-ups that's been going on with the governments and NASA and whatever deals were cut, blah, 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 there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to have, easily, if not this year, in 2026, we're going to have like some stuff to where we go, oh, they lied to us again. And I knew that I saw that ship. I knew, I've always been okay with the term UFO means unidentified flying object. I'm absolutely convinced that probably 80% of it is our secret black ops.
Well, I think isn't that like so just correct me if I'm wrong here, but Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto is the planet of it'll be there for a while, and it's the planet of like transformation, like deep transformation, right?
The death of the old and the rebirth that has to happen.
So if you're a truth seeker, if you really care about the truth, I think that would kind of help it,
Oh yeah. If you're those that are anybody that is just hardcore, I'm gonna do it like my daddy did it and the way my mama did it because that's just the way we do it in Scotland or Ireland or or Africa. If you're locked down with your culture, Aquarius is the value that we can get from supernatural, paranormal, indigenous cultures other than how we were raised. It's our ability to raise the bar on the fantastic realms of why other people believe what they believe and what can we extract, like what's the best of Christianity? What's the best teachings of the native peoples? What's the best teachings of the Aborigines or the Buddhists? And how can I take the Aquarius soup is if I took the highest truth principles of Catholicism and Judaism and I live it and I apply it, even though I was raised in Christianity, if I can appreciate that the main 8 precepts of Buddha is to not be attached to the material world, that's going to help me when I blend that with my Christianity and my faith in the supernatural power of the resurrected Christ. That's going to help me when I call in. It takes skill sets to be able to hear the results of what I asked the Holy Ghost for and to supernaturally recognize I got my answer. And there's like really viable, physical, tangible manifestations. When I ask for certain things, I'm like, whoa. I'll give an example. My brother, before he passed, my younger brother, which was absolutely the soul contract tribe brother of this lifetime, before he passed in 2003, much younger than me, of brain and liver cancer, he slipped his sapphire and diamond ring, his favorite ring, on my hand, and he said, don't sell it. Wear that. That's my connection. We were very connected metaphysically, and I'm like, absolutely, which I still have. He also had he's like designer shit. He had this Gucci pinky ring, and it was also just a simple ring with
That's some good stuff. Though.
And oh hell yeah, he did. John and I knew fashion, so it was just a simple band, but it was real sapphires and diamonds. Well, it's one of those things where you put something in a safe place, and I have it. I know I have it, but it's in one of those scorpionic Pluto safe places, and I had just commented, because it's been about a year, I had just commented, John's birthday's coming up May 8th. I'm feeling that little pinky ring. He gave my mom the ruby one and the emerald one, and I got the sapphire one because it matched his ring. Go with a friend up to meet somebody I'd never met before, a fantastic Leo that turns 95 in August. Fantastic, perfect mind, knows how to text and all that. And I'm like, damn, I'm impressed. You made me happy. I like watching a 94, 95-year-old person with such joy of life. And I may walk with a little bit of a cane, but I got one speed, and it's go pure Leo. Absolutely stunning. And with Mars and Leo, that was fun to watch. Unbeknownst to me, she's like the other friend that went up with me has known her for 30 years. And unbeknownst to me, she comes out and she said, I have something for you. I said, listen, I'm enjoying every single bit of this energy. And she knew what I did, and that I was a mystic and all that. Very respectful, didn't ask for the free reading, none of that, like big props to her. She comes out, here's the manifestation. She comes out and she says, put this on. It's a sapphire and diamond pinky ring. I'm like, whoa.
What is
We
it
just
about the
met.
pinky too that makes you feel like extra special when you put it on the
Yeah,
pinky too?
yep,
It's a little
yeah,
bougie,
yeah.
right?
Well,
But it's cool, you know.
no, it's the
I
right kind
like
of
it.
bougie. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And you set your own style. Aries and Aquarius is about setting your own style. And I said,
Yeah.
of course, you have no idea except in supernatural terms. But this is direct communication from my brother,
Oh.
who's in spirit, because his stones, I love amethyst and iolite and his stones were sapphires and diamonds. This is not only precious because you blessed me with this, everything's real about it, genuine diamond and sapphire, and I could feel my brother going, that's how it's done, because we liked manifesting stuff. And I said, and it's like it leveled up, Joe, like it was more outstanding, more pronounced stones and everything, more stones than was what just embedded in that gold pinky ring. And I'm like, surely John is in this place. And so for me, more than the material object was that literally out of the blue, unbeknownst to me, psychically or anything, Spirit goes, yeah, watch this. Watch us show you that your prayers are working. Watch us show you. And I've been reminding people since last October, let's focus. The Aquarius thing, Pluto can be the darkness of black magic and murderers and predators, and when Pluto changes signs, it's in Aquarius. That's high intelligence. That's like the CIA wanting to recruit you. That's like, the neighbor that you thought you knew isn't who you thought you knew, kind of a thing. It's like, whoa. It's like when you see on TV, when you watch these crime shows, I never knew he or she would do that.
Well,
you
remember right when it. See, this is why I tell people like there's some truth to astrology when you really look at the charts, and because like you remember when it first moved into like Pluto into Aquarius, and then all of a sudden all these people like big, celebs, online celebs, streamers, all this stuff, they just started getting busted. Just left and right. And I was like, oh, hell, the truth's coming out, right? So an individuated
plus Pluto,
truth. Yeah, Pluto's going to cause that too, right? So
well, Pluto exposes the shadow.
Right.
It's Scorpio. And so Scorpio is like sometimes we plunge ourselves into the darkness because we needed to know what that felt like in order to really appreciate the choice of the light. So Pluto and Aquarius, what's the other side? What's the balance side to Aquarius? Leo.
Right.
The opposite sign in the polarity to Aquarius is Leo. So a couple of things about 2025. We started this year with Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. So anybody that's a Leo, born in the July part of Leo, intensity 101. Absolutely. Don't play with the law. Don't do anything nefarious. Don't rip anybody off. It's the time for you to absolutely move with the higher principles of the brave heart, the beautiful lion, the defender, the king, the heart chakra. You want absolutely to amplify the best. Read about it. The best principles of Leo are. Mars is in Leo right now. It did a long retrograde in Cancer. It's in Leo right now until we get to mid-June. It'll shift into Virgo. So right now, Leos, born in July, and Aquarians, born in January, are getting the big energy, the big life shifts of Pluto and Aquarius right now. The other signs of Taurus, so Taurus people born in late April and Scorpio people born in the October part of Scorpio are watching like their guides and societal assistance, and the information and the manifestations are coming to those four signs, but nothing remains the same, and everything is shifting. It's really like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. It's really like that. It's like escaping the Matrix for those four signs. But the intensity, and the true intensity, is on Leo right now, Aquarius, then Taurus, then Scorpio. So then Neptune and Saturn pop into Aries. Neptune at the end of March, Saturn just a couple of days ago. So for Taurus, this energy moved into their 12th house. So they got a lot of deep psychological stuff coming up, the waterfall, the volcanoes. There might be family members leaning in on them. There might be surprises that they find out. They may feel crowded. They may feel pushed. But the signs most in the spotlight with these new Aries placements in the North Node that shifted in January 11th, with the North Node being in Aries for this first year of that 18-month cycle, is that Aries absolutely have to shed the old skin.
Okay.
You can't keep, if anger or the response is, if you've always been kind of the same way when you're attracted to somebody and your anger always gets expressed that way, every Aries out there knows that they have to micromanage their impatience, their impulsiveness, their frustration, when they get angry, when they drive, how they have to be careful when they're angry, working with volatile things. It's Mars. It's ruled by Mars. Right now, Mars is favoring Aries, but Saturn still went in there. And Saturn says, I said, clean it up. I've given you 30 years.
No.
I've given you 29, 30 years to deal with this thing. So every Aries and its opposite sign and every Libra needs to look back to 1996 and to 1998 if you're old enough for that. If you were born between 1996 and 1998, you're going through one of the most major celestial transformative timelines and cycles in your life. When someone gets to the age of 28 and a half to 30 years old, in astrology we call that the first Saturn return, when you're between 28 and 30. The second Saturn return does not happen again until you're between the ages of 58 and a half and 60. And when you think about people in society going, oh my God, I turned 30. Holy crap, I just turned 60. Those are like big things. And
40.
Yeah. And the next one will be 90. So you only get potentially in a normal lifespan, you're guaranteed probably in the average person, 2 Saturn returns, but it's monumental. It's monumental when you're close to 30. It's monumental when you're close to 60. And it's huge when you make it to 90 and go out of that third Saturn return. So, but if you're in a different age and you were alive and you can look back to 1996 to 1998, and then it retrograded, and there was a little bit of it that dipped into 1999. But the main changes, the main things that left your life, Saturn comes in and does like a rotor-rooter in your life psychologically. And if spirit has tried to tell you that's not the best way to handle that, you know you're eating wrong, you know you could drink more water, you know that you could stop, whining about this, you've had 30 years and you've still not changed and tried something else, get your foot in the water, dive off the diving board. It's time to do something new. Oh, it's been 30 years and you haven't done it. Now we're going to shove you off the diving board. That's not because God is mad at you. Enough is enough. Saturn in Aries is saying to Aries people, Aries strong placements in the chart and Libra strong placements in the chart, enough is enough. You've done it that way, your way, their way, long enough. Reinvent yourself. That's the Aquarius and the Aries factor. And of course, the North Node is in Aries going, you're stagnant, pal. You know if you're holding on to something and you need to move on from it. That Aries female, Aries man, Libra female, Libra male. If those are strong components in your chart, it's going to work if you stop trying to force the change to be the way you think it ought to be.
All right. So you want to, do you want to go through the signs? Because we're well over an hour now, so.
I'll just do a couple of tidbits, and then because I want to get into readings. My psychic sense is really strong on the reading. So swords is the element right now. Swords, spades, that's the air. So the atmosphere of what we each create is the Gemini new moon. Mercury's there, and this Gemini is getting along with Mars and Leo. It's getting along with Saturn and Neptune and Aries. This is the sweet spot. This is a really good new moon in 2025 for being. I want you to feel very secure about initiating changes, about realizing it's good. It's good to take a dance with chance and to take the opportunity, and you don't have to be stuck there. But this is a really harmonious astrological new moon that says, try something different, try not to judge it, just get the momentum and get started. Just do something differently. If you haven't read in a book a while, do it. If you haven't gone to the movie, do it. If you haven't listened to a different genre of music, do it. If you've not, decluttered your house, do it. Whatever it is, do something to where you have the symbology of your external life of letting go of the old stuff, especially if some of it's sentimental crap you've been holding on to, because better can replace it, as in my example of the ring. I know my brother's ring is still somewhere and my stuff from the different moves that I've done. I feel it. I know it psychically. It's not needing to be on my finger right now. And this all happened around my brother's birthday. Of all the times in a year it could have happened, birthday May 8th, it's on my hand before the new moon. Before the full moon in Scorpio, my full moon. It happened before the 11th, 12th. Yeah, and it's just like, how many signs do you need? So I don't need for Spirit to keep showing up for me. It literally brought me a ring out of the invisible onto my hand. Yeah, I'm good. I know that tarot cards come to life. I know that oracle things happen, and I know that prayer works. And I know that my words, when I blend them with divine fire, create. So what does that mean? I must be very aware of my anger, my words, and what I cast, because I've trained myself enough that if I say it, it's got life to it, and the responsibility comes back to me, good or ill, comes back to me. So I have to be an agent of remaining aware. So Gemini, you're in the spotlight. Happy birthday. May Geminis, June Geminis, you're coming up into your time, and there's some sweet spots that happen around June 7th when we get Jupiter finishing up in the sign of Gemini, which Geminis have had that for about a year, and it's going to move into the sign of Cancer. Gemini, that's going to bless you with financial relaxation and things beginning to be, you're going to find out what's a priority and why. But let's start with Aries. So Aries and Gemini are in the spotlight. Aries, it's intense. Aries can handle intense. Scorpio can handle intense. But Aries right now, you're not going to be allowed to have any excuses. You can't make the procrastination. You can't make the excuses. Your words have more power to create than any of the other 11 signs.
Oh,
and that carries with it a weight. Yeah, that carries with it a weight of responsibility. So don't start all your alchemical, I'm a magician bullshit unless you're going to be aware of your word power. Your word is your wand. It is your magic wand. What you're casting out there is taking life. And so you can work with alchemy. You can work with affirmations. You can whisper an important prayer every time you get into the car. I receive and accept my harmony and my prosperity in all ways. All ways. I am open to prosperity and light. Simple stuff like that. But you got to get in the habit of stating it, because your breath and the sound healing are going together for that. So the opposite of that is shut your mouth, giving life to things that you don't want. It's creative. It's bringing some very interesting connections to you, not just because of or through the internet, but like in your community, in where you live. Like literally you think you've lived in the place forever and you've got pretty much everybody's cousins and uncles and everybody figured out, and all of a sudden somebody new moves in. And it's like, oh, I was meant to meet that person. We're meant to connect. So don't think you got your little neighborhood or your community, your town all figured out, because things are on the move. The Aquarius, the Gemini, the North Node in Aries, a lot of Mars and Leo. Oh, my God. Mars and Leo is going, hey, it's snap, crackle, pop time, Aries. Put your game on, and don't worry about your game, because Spirit finds you attractive right now. That's right, Aries. Spirit finds you very attractive right now. Move into that. Move into that envelope. Move into that costume. Don't get cocky about it. Don't get the BDE energy over it. Just realize that it's an opportunity.
Did you say BDE?
I did. So that's an attitude more than.
I got
that's
you.
an attitude more than an actual anatomical event. So it's got to do with bougie, extra. When I love it when black people will say, "So extra, you're so extra." And then my gay male friends say, "So bougie. Stop being so bougie. Stop being so extra." I
never heard you say BDE before. That's
well,
funny,
it's
Mary.
out there. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, we all know it when it happens.
Right.
You're not thinking about the person's body parts. You're thinking about, really, would you level it down, please? You are not the only energy in the room, and I'm happy to put you in check. So for Aries right now, they are warriors, and Saturn in Aries is saying to you, Aries men and women, it's saying to you, pick your battles, choose your battles. You really can win. You really can win. But then Saturn's saying to you, because Neptune's there too, Saturn's saying to you, do you really know if it's worth it or not? At what cost, at what price? There will be a cost.
Take action.
Yeah, there will be a price. Is it worth it? Do you feel your vital life forces surging, Aries? Do you feel its momentum as far as to thine own self be true? Aries is I am. And I guess if I could give the most important word salad for these Aries planets and the Aquarius and the Mars and Leo factor combined with all this yang, Gemini, I would say, here's a really good ritual and ceremony to do with your breath and your words. Get a piece of paper, get paperback, whatever. Get something and write down I am. And then draw a line. And start to just make a decision that you're going to pay attention to what you're putting after those two words. How many times where people say, I'm so sick of this, I'm so tired of that, so I am. I'm is I am.
That's creative.
I apostrophe,
Very creative.
yeah. Yeah, so it's simple, it's free, and you can do it, but if you're going to get any frustration, it's going to be like, oh, you're going to start going, boy, I did not realize how criticizing I am, how I'm putting myself down, how I'm not. I think I've got faith, and I've done all these rituals, and I bought all these crystals, and I had my chart done, but I'm still out there acting like the same infant when it comes to my word power. So Gemini's word power. If you're a Taurus, this Gemini energy is very strong with your finances and your value and who you want to invest in, what you want to invest in, what you want to sell, what's a debit, what's a credit. That's your cycle. But the second house isn't just our material possessions and our tangibles in the earth life. It also has to do with your shifting as far as what you decide is a valuable participation for you. It might be you're cleaving more to a family member in a crisis. It might be that your friends, the association with certain friendships might be sailing in a different course. A new relationship could be coming in, and that's out of the blue. That's your sapphire and diamond ring coming in out of the blue. The Gemini factor has got your attention on how can I declutter what I find valuable and what I find distasteful, and I'm done with it. It's not bad, it's not good, I'm just done. I want to let it go. So the Aries factor, though, for you, Taurus, yeah, it's stirring up some internal stuff with you. It's got to do with closing chapters on how you used to run your kids, how you used to run your life, how you've been running your love life, whether you're a young Taurus or an older Taurus. If your focus is just on the 3D material world, you're going to have some surprises. You're going to find the rug might be...
Yeah.
You're going to find that the rug might be pulled out under your feet because Taurus likes to control, and they're very good at financial management, but they're so good at it that it shocks the crap out of them when something doesn't go their way financially or something costs more than they thought it would, either energetically or in actual tangible currency. So that's a cycle. There's lessons there. The Saturn lessons for Taurus is it isn't all about the money, and you're about to find out.
It all goes away in the end. Ain't the thing that lasts.
Nope. And they put too much. They base too much of their emotional satisfaction and security on the material world, and that's the cross that Taurus has to bear with this Saturn in Aries cycle, which we'll talk about more at another point. If you're Gemini, it's flirty, it's fun. I would advise you, because there's so many favorable things around you, Gemini, that you not pull pranks on people, that you not criticize people, that you don't be too extra, because the stars are really favoring you right now. And, make your words count and shut your mouth and listen and quit just telling the same exact story to the next 15 people, because that's new for the people, hopefully, but you're still stuck in a stagnation of word salad if you're Gemini. So don't oversell it. And it's hard for Gemini to listen. It's easy for Gemini to talk and to entertain and to flirt and to try to bring up the atmosphere in the room. And the reason Geminis do that is they're bored. They're easily bored. So if they find themselves meeting with friends or going to dinner or cocktail hour and they think it's going to get stagnant, the Gemini becomes the trickster and the jester and the one that wants to just stir up the pot to get everybody going and communicating, to where the Gemini can sit back then and watch people and figure them out.
Keep in mind, it does before, because I know some Geminis are thinking, what? I'm not that bad, right? The rest of your chart does matter. Mary's talking about in general.
God, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So.
We're talking about, the Gemini thing that I'm talking about is one cofactor. It's your external life. It's the sun. And it's like you've got a house with 12 rooms, and the sun is
Right.
lighting up this room for you. That we're talking about the subdivision where you're at in your neighborhood. So for Geminis, they're adventurous right now, and the Aries only stimulates that. But no, Gemini, you could benefit because you have such popularity and the radiant shine on you because all this is happening in Gemini. You really could improve your social connections, and it could be, oh my God, I met this person, and now this thing is going to be so much easier because who knew they're the mechanic I need, that kind of a thing. It can just all dovetail nicely. If you're a Cancer moonchild, this is the month before your birthday. So it's embryonic, it's psychic, it's psychologically revealing, it's therapy, it's self-nurturing, it's take care of you. You might find that you want to kind of be the crab that goes back into its shell. You might be helping out people in need, driving them somewhere, and giving them encouraging words, a verbal cheerleader. Cancers right now, the best way they're getting ready for their birthday cycle is to be the friend. When there's a friend in need, you're the friend that steps in to do the deed, to help it be a softer moment for them.
Love
If
Cancer.
you're Leo, Lord God, Mars is in your sign. That's a whole lot of energy. Aries is saying, speed up, do a wheelie, take the tires off the side, go bungee jumping, go do this, do that. So Leos, you already have strong energy. Do not let other people, in the South we say things like them's fighting words.
Yeah.
So be careful of how people and the dark forces could try to draw you into the wrong side of the mismanagement of your anger. You literally could go to jail. You could have, some kind of charges for getting in a fight or what. You're not favored for that. You're not favored to take risk in traffic, and you're not favored to be too extra, bullying people at the gas station, or people aren't leaving, taking off from the traffic light fast enough. Just calm your ass down so you can get the best part of Mars. Mars in Leo, it's not that well placed. Mars is happy in Aries. It's happy in Aries. And in Leo, it can be too much of a bully. It can be your energy is sucking all the oxygen out of the room. And Leo, when Mars is in your sign, you don't see it, that you're seeking all the attention, or you're seeking to to get the applause. It's like, I'm here. How come you're not noticing me? That's not attractive right now, Leo. So tone it down and let people engage you instead of you just wanting to walk up going, I'm here now, so it's all about me.
It looks like in my
And you've got
chart
a lot
too,
of-
it's trining Venus and Chiron both in Aries. So
That's opportunity. Anytime you've got the most favorable, the most favorable 120-degree aspect, the pyramid, the trine, there's a lot of opportunities there. And so if we go out into the world being positive and respectful, and our focus in our third eye is, I'm interested in the win-win scenario. I'm interested, and it blesses them, it blesses me. I'm not going to use them, and they're for sure not going to use me. So it'll help you set healthy boundaries. And so anything to do with acting or singing or dancing or getting together with friends can be a really jolly good time. I mean, a good time can be had by all. But I think with Leo, more is not better, and you don't want to keep getting the adrenaline in high gear. If you're a Virgo, Gemini subdivision for you is the 10th house. It has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with favor. It has a lot to do with the friend favors of CEOs, people you've known for a long time, people that have got your back. Out of the blue, when you have some kind of strife or struggle or a legal issue, you'll have people from behind the scenes that can actually come in and quiet Aries, the potential battle, the potential war zone can come down because of who you know and who they know. It's like the song, instead of I got friends in low places, I got friends in high places. So it's the Garth Brooks song. Yeah. So, but it's about Virgos redefining their goals. A lot of Virgos might retire or change jobs or have some father figure issues going on because it's the authority figures. The 10th house is about who do we admire and who we allow ourselves to look up to or to learn from. If you're a Libra, the Gemini thing is 9th house. Libras are wanting to take the longer trip. They're wanting to go into something exotic. They're ripe for exotic philosophies, and make sure you don't get into some kind of cult just because it's that different. Let your purpose and your passion Understand it's a privilege. Understand that there's promises, and then there's the privileges that come from promises kept. So Libras right now are wanting to seek some kind of knowledge, those people and those words that can inspire them. And I really feel for Libras, it's about some kind of actual physical movement, like boarding the cruise ship, or going to the river, getting to the mountains, going to someplace other than where you live. It's the differentness of cultures and beliefs that will ground a Libra right now and say, I never looked at it that way. I never heard that word before. I never looked at that person's customs and their spirituality. I got something from that. That made me stronger in mine and more accepting of humanity. If you're Scorpio, ooh-wee, you're in your element. Gemini's lighting up your 8th house. You're extremely got big presence. Your guides are talking. You might be grabbing a pen and writing down stuff. Your dreams are going to be powerful. You're very sensual. You have to be aware of the fact that you're carrying more of a magnetic presence, an energy around you. And so I would suggest, Scorpios, that you kind of shield yourselves up a little bit.
Be careful.
So you don't invite the wrong kind of sexual attention. I would not be taking risk in crowds, in alleys. I would not be taking risks because the 8th house is also death and dying. It could be it's a big planet out there. Some of you Scorpios could be having to let go of the apartment or the animal or attend a funeral of someone that you knew or a celebration of life because somehow, Scorpio, over the next 30 days, death is talking to you. Death is teaching you. It doesn't have to be a huge loss or sad, but there's something that needs to be buried. There's something that has to resurrect. There's a different life form and a different way that you'll be relating to something that was once alive in only a certain way. You're a Sagittarius. It's your relationship cycle. It's your partner. Gemini lights up your significant other. It's the 7th house. So it's got to do with Sagittarius maybe realizing that it's time for them to really listen to their partners more, to really let their partner feel heard and understood. Repeat back to the partner saying, what would make you happy at this time? Is there something I could do or that we could do together that would be relaxing for you or decompressing for you? Because with Sagittarius, they just stay busy all the time. But your relationships are wanting to take center stage. If you're a Sagittarius, Gemini is lighting up this time frame as we go into the full moon over the next 2 weeks, making it ideal for those deeper conversations, special connections, and setting the intentions for new partnerships. Saturn in Aries is good to you too. Sagittarius, it's moving into your 5th house. You may find yourself around children or younger people or wanting to help direct a child or a grandchild, like being a support to them, going to the soccer game, going to the baseball game, teaching them to drive. Somehow I see you Sagittarians being more life coaches than you may have imagined. If you're Capricorn, it's all about your health. It's all about your health and your wellness. So the Saturn, the Neptune in Aries is clashing with the Capricorn. I know 2 Capricorns. One of them had their appendix burst, and another Capricorn had to they're going to have to go get knee replacement surgery. They didn't see that one coming. Capricorn rules the bones and the teeth. You're a Capricorn, go get your teeth cleaned. If you're Capricorn, start brushing your teeth with baking soda and eat a spoonful of coconut oil at night to keep the tartar off your teeth. It's about, you got to deal with the bones. The bones know. The bones are look at your supplements, look at your eating habits. It's just for 30 days, for God's sake. So focus on your health, and if you're drinking too much, if you're taking too many Xanax, if you're starving yourself and robbing yourself of nutrients because you just want to be that thin. Yeah, okay, back up on the Botox and look at your life in more of a nutritional way, not in a society likes me when I look like this. Yeah, that's bullshit, and that's vanity. So tighten it up, Capricorn. Take care of what really matters with wellness, and wellness starts with our spirit. If you're Aquarius, it's 5th house. If you don't want to get pregnant, then I'd pay attention and not take chances. It's 5th house. It's fertile. It's creative. It's dynamic. You can make such a difference in a younger person's life right now. So you don't have to be an actual school teacher or a Sunday school deacon. This is about, you could be the neighbor, but if you're an Aquarius, you really could be planting some forever seeds, some pearls of wisdom for someone that is hopeful or looking up to you. And maybe they won't talk about it to their parents, but they trust you, and you've got that responsibility, Saturn, the responsibility of guiding that younger person in a right way. Yeah, guiding that person. Even if their parents are dropping the ball or not paying attention to them, you could give them some life-enhancing wisdom or words. And finally, Pisces, it's fourth house for you, Pisces. The good news is the nodes have moved out of the 3 years of being in Pisces in your opposite sign of Virgo. And Pisces right now need to kind of clean up their home life. It's, it's a juicy, very imaginative, positive new moon, even though Gemini squares Pisces, but it's got to do with, there's some things in your family life and in your home front. I see that news coming in. There may be some broken arrows there. There may be some boundaries that you have to set. And maybe, Pisces, you're sitting there with your feelings hurt because you're thinking people should have guessed. That they can't read your mind, Pisces. You need to speak up. They should have guessed, why that hurt your feelings or why you're sensitive to rejection. And, sometimes, Pisces, you sit back and you give, but then you expect other people, there's a leash to it, and you expect other people to come on over and do even more so for you. So you're going to give without a leash on it, give without a string attached, because that's what really blesses us with the good karma. And this new moon is offering some innovative fresh starts in your domestic life, but it does require you to shift the burden from how you need to show up the same way all the time. And it also, Pisces, I think you need to do some kind of correction to do with your spending. I mean, you got this Saturn and Neptune and Aries, and I think that sometimes Pisces can have a shopping addiction or a thrift store, got to sell it, got to make money, the resale kind of thing. I think Pisces, they get emotional comfort from buying stuff. And so that's an addiction, just like porn, just like eating. I mean, it's a type of addiction that you always have to buy, sell, because it's a high when you find the bargain, and it's a high when you sell it for more than what you paid for it. So I would say don't get stuck there, Pisces. Take your creativity into a different way, and maybe just take a whole bunch of stuff that you did get a good deal on and go give it to the domestic abused women's thrift store or the animal thrift store. Just go donate some stuff, and without the need for any kind of a leash to it, and just realize that you don't want to be on the course of being a hoarder. Yeah, watch those shows, Pisces. Watch those shows on the Learning Channel about how people fall into the pit of being a hoarder of cars or, boxes.
That's so crazy, man. Every time, there's always like 5 or 6 synchros every time I do a show with you. Like I was talking, my dad's a Pisces today, and he's like day trading, and he's into these 0-day options, and he's like, look at that. If I could just buy it, then I could sell it right here. He's showing me these. I look at these charts all the time, And I'm like, yeah. You can see how he was like obsessed with like maximizing his profit every time,
Oh yeah, they get caught up in it. Pisces can get caught up in the money game. But
buy, sell,
I will say, of all the new moons, I will say this is the moon that you could score a good deal. It's so favorable for most of the signs, and even though it's even the month before Cancer, if Cancer's in its most tender time of the year as far as what they need to clean up and let go of and do self-care with. I mean, it's such a positive new moon. I mean, rarely will you have astrologers coming to the table and saying, because there's always this square and that out of bounds with this. This is a really good new moon. I guess I would say for all signs, don't waste it. The opportunities are there. It's like the carousel is spinning, and the golden ring is happening for everybody to slip on their finger, in different categories in their lives. So you can just simply type in the internet if you want to play the social media AI bullshit game, and you can just say, how does the Gemini new moon favor me as an Aries, me as an Aquarius? You can get that on there if you just want some homogenized, typical astrological jargon. You can get that. But if it helps you center by looking at the words rather than listening to the words, and that'll help you get on course, I would simply leave the zodiac part of this with this. And again, put on your listening ears, as Judge Judy says. Look at where each of you, regardless of your sign, your moon sign and your rising sign, blah, 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 just write down the words, I am, and what do you put, how are you filling in the blank? That's where you need to level up. All of us, regardless of our signs, all of us.
Do the Pluto thing, individuate. Even you
Yep.
do see that, like with people's astrology. Well, I'm a moon this, sun that. It's like they're still trying to find a simple explanation for who they are all the time, or what's going on, or what does this mean? And you can be a complex individual that has all kinds of different needs.
No, we are.
It's
We're
perfectly fine.
multifaceted. We're multifaceted, biochemical prisms and satellites and magnificent beings. We have the DNA of the Creator. Whatever breathed life into us, we're not separate from that. That's the biggest metaphysical and spiritual truth, not religious, biggest metaphysical and spiritual truth you can get from all the indigenous cultures and beliefs that I've studied. You are light. God created the heavens and the earth and moved, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Plug into that. I allow the light. I am one with the light. I am receiving the light. Just keep it simple, stupid, as they say. Just I am embracing the light. I am in divine alignment. Try it. You got nothing to lose, and it's free. What you have to do is apply the what, Saturn, and Pluto as the effort. You've got to do the work. Saturn doesn't let you always get it an easy way. You've got to put the boots on the ground and do the work. And so the battle that we want to conquer and get rid of is that we need to be at war all the time. We need to be in a battle with ourselves all the time. The Pluto in Aquarius is saying, yeah, the heavens will help you. Yeah, it's real. Yeah. The paranormal and the supernatural is real. Do you want to see Bigfoot, Sasquatch? Okay, we'll let it happen. We'll scare the shit out of you. Go ahead. Go in the woods. Go ahead and find out what's in there. You really need to have that? Oh, yeah, go ahead and do another ghost hunting thing with the graveyard. We'll send some shit home with you. If that's what you want and that's going to thrill you this month, we'll send you something home with you. Try to pull the covers over your head. It won't work. You went there. It came home with you. Stop getting into spirituality and magic and alchemy and metaphysics just to have some kind of thrill zone. You're not going to be liking what you bring home with you.
It's not fun.
Work on improving yourself. And as you improve yourself, the lover is good to you, you're good to them. Your finances will flow because you're not out to be self-entitled and greedy and lazy. It's not, and it may take a little bit to improve that, because once when you set the course of dedication, divine dedication, you're going to get tested. There's going to be greedy people and liars and lovers that just want to use you and take what you've got. That's going to happen. It's easy for me to predict that. That's
when she says take what you got, y'all, that doesn't always mean money.
Exactly.
Take what you have, like what you have, what's sacred to you. There's people out there that want what you, like you were saying earlier, they want what you got, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. And if they can buy it instead of doing the work themselves, and they can sit back going, I got money, you need money, I'm going to buy you, I'm going to put a price on your head, you're going to do it where I say and how it's going to be. It's like, I don't have a price on it.
I hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If I wish I could stop battling that. I cannot stand that shit. Like people that genuinely help, like I love those people. And like that's, like you were talking about, just genuine help, and you ain't bragging about it. You just want to see another person not feel so bad, like
you do it because it's the right thing to do, and your spirit told you, bless that person, feed that animal, do this, do that. And there's going to be fallout and consequences. That's going to happen. It's not always going to go the way you wanted to do it. But I'll give you another quick story before we go into readings and take the break. There was just last week, there was me and animals. There was this striped dog, and it was scared, and it was running around in the empty parking lot next to one of the little grocery stores in this small town. And I actually had some steak left over. I was going to bring my diva daughter dog, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're not going to get that. And there was a really cute young guy that just started working at the little grocery store with little Ingalls, and he was coming out to get the buggies, and I was like, oh, it's a puppy. And my other friend said, oh, my God, it's a dog. We're going to stall, Mary's. And I said, oh, look how skinny it is. And I said, I have food, just like that. And this guy come out, and he was working, and he knew we were getting ready to leave, and he goes, I'll take it. I said, you will? And he said, yeah, I'll take it. And I thought, okay, Spirit sent him. Maybe the dog's going to identify with him. And the dog was scared, and it was running, and its ribs were showing, and And so he said he just went over to the grass and he set it down. Of course, the dog's going to smell meat. And then he said, here it is. It's for you. I'm going to walk away. And I watched him. I'd never seen that guy before. And he went back in. And, of course, I am born on Halloween night. Here comes a crow. And the crow lands and gets a piece of meat. And I'm like, there you go, Totem. Take off so the dog will come. Of course, the crows. So the dog started heading over to the meat. I got in the car and took off. With my friend feeling good. The dog was skinny. The guy was there as an agent of Earth Angel, and there was meat for that dog. Well, it ended up being one of its last meals. I go to the store today.
Damn.
That very dog's been hit, and it's up, its little legs up because it's dead and it's on the highway. And I went, oh, wow. I'm sad, but I don't know all the circumstances of it. If somebody was beating it, if it ran away and it just couldn't trust anybody anymore and it just wanted to die and rebirth or whatever. And I saw it's, when the animals die, they go into that like rigor mortis thing. And I thought, you know what? I gave a shit enough to stop and feed that dog. And maybe it didn't get to come live with me, or I didn't get to see the story of how it went to live with somebody else, but I cared enough to take the time and go give the steak scraps away, half a steak, that I had already cut up for my dog. And I can tell you that was the rich moment that stopped me from being so sad that dog didn't get to make it.
Well, at least it didn't die starving, probably.
Right.
Know?
I gave. Yeah. I gave. Just like you said, we appreciate the people that give to us just because, and when I give to somebody, when I gave to that dog, when somebody gives to you or you give to me, you're going to be blessed. People don't see it. It's like, well, do I give them $50? Do I get a reading? Do I tithe to the show? Yeah, but when you feel it and you give it,
you just do it.
That's good credit in your spiritual bank account. And it's probably the money that's kept me, the things that I've done and the animals that I've fed. And when I've been on a shoestring budget a lot in my life, I'm still not going to break the habit of wanting to feed the dog and do this or do that because it brings my soul joy. It's a part of my soul's purpose. But I do believe those times that we give kept us out of that horrible car wreck, let us survive whatever psychological darkness somebody was throwing at us. We don't give thanks enough. I am thankful for my unseen, sacred, angelic protectors, for all that I have no idea that they saved me from, that they protected me from. We don't think about that enough. And Gemini is thinking, and Gemini is word power, and your word is your wand, and we need to get into aligning with the promise of spirit so that we will experience the privileges of the presence.
Right. So we got a few minutes for phone calls. If you want to call in, it's 501-777-5631. That's 501. Here, I'll put it in the chat, too, because sometimes people don't know the number.
Oh, good.
501-777.
I'm swirling the cards now. We'll see who's meant to be on the Gemini moon.
People always start like I've been doing this for almost like 6 years now. And people will start calling at the beginning of the show, and then they just,
Well, and you know what? I don't have a problem since the next one is very emotional and very intuitive. I know we're trying to keep a protocol. We're not doing that to insult you, audience. Joe and I decided from the beginning that we would do the cosmic weather forecast because when you hit the replay, you've got all this information that guides you through the next 2 weeks, for example, until we get to the Sagittarius full moon. So it may not be all relevant tonight, but it's a guidepost. It's a guidebook all the way into the next 2.5, 3 weeks, and certainly till Joe and I come together in the third week of June for the Cancerian, the strongest new moon of the year because the moon rules Cancer. So if we get the opportunity and we just start something under this May new moon, it becomes rooted. It becomes rooted because we're coming into summer solstice. So we're coming into the season of light in the northern hemisphere. So Gemini is the last sign of spring. So the light increases now. So let there be light. And there was light. I am casting light onto and into ABC, whatever you want to light up in your life right now.
801 area code. You're on the air. Who are you speaking with? 801.
Hi, this is Utah. Hello, Mary. How are you, ma'am?
Can you hear her, Mary?
I'm good. Hello, good. Utah. Hello, Utah. What a great state that is. Hello, Utah. Do you have a question, or would you like me just to
first I want to say so much to you, Mary. Thank you very, very much. for the time you spent with me in session recently. And you are right, it's not easy, but it has been a remarkable chain of events that I'm so happy to have. So yes, go ahead and pull a card for me, and just know thank you so much.
I am receiving the energetic signature of your gratitude, and I am blessing you back the other way. You got the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a celebration card. There's four main seasons. There's four main directions on the First Nations medicine wheel. There are four key houses in an astrological birth map, the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th, that are very significant when we look at the different rooms of our expression of our character and personality. And this is about a celebration after a very big life-changing event, finally summoning up courage, finally not doing things just with the same reactions or the avoidance or the enabling. This is about, I did it, like touching your heart with your hand, just putting your hand over your heart going, I guess it took the time that it had to take for me to get the courage and the strength to be authentically me and say, look, I can love you, but I'm not allowing that. And because I say no to you, if you act out or you come back with arrogance or unappreciation or selfishness or any kind of temper tantrum, you're closing the door with you and I right now, because I'm not doing it. I was there for you. I did do that. I did tolerate it. I'm done.
But
that
I
chapter's
won't
closing.
do that.
That's right. But I won't do that.
Yes.
Meatloaf.
Love that song.
Oh, yes.
I would do
And you are
anything for love.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I did finally get to the third item in the cedar chest, and oh boy, that was, well, magical, as between you and I, So I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. I love you guys so much. Joe, you are just so cute. Hang in there, hon.
He is.
Thank you.
We love you all.
He is.
I appreciate that. Thanks for your call.
Love you, Mary. Take care, hon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
honey. Blessings.
I don't know why that
Joe,
song stuck in my
say,
head, man. That Meatloaf song.
I am cute. No, that's a good song. I am cute. I am cute. It was validated tonight. So you go in the mirror and you go, I am cute. I am full of cuteness. I have the cuteness factor. I'm strutting it. I'm sharing it. I'm here. That's the magnet.
It's better to be, it could be worse, Could be a lot worse than cute.
Cute's friendly.
501-777-563. I only got one line, so let's see. I have to pick because I got like three coming in.
We can do those three real quick. We can move them fast.
All right, let's do 5.
I am good.
0. I'm good. I'm cute. 503 area code. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Kate.
Kate. What's up, Kate?
Yeah, not much. Yay, I made it through.
You did. Meant to be.
Would you like Mary to pull a card for you?
Yes, please.
All right.
Thank you, Kate. Kate, I keep hearing my guides psychically say, Kate, you're out of the gate. It's just like the gates have opened. The horses are running and it's an exciting race. It's a social event. It's like something that you want to participate in, that you want to move fast forward into. And I got the Empress card. And the Empress card, the number 3, which is interesting because this is the third zodiac sign. The Empress card has a lot of that sassy little Libra with it. We've got all these Aries planets. The Empress card is pregnant with possibility, meaning that she's allowing the vision of her creativity to now take seed, take form. She's nurturing the plant, planting the flowers, deciding what herbs she wants to grow. She's like, it's the springtime planting type of a thing. So Spirit's telling me that you're really busy with the seeds of change that you're willing to put into the ground, to ignite the faith, to water your goals, to allow the light of the sun, to let the transformative Pluto process happen underneath the soil, and the majesty of light when it breaks ground. So it's like you're the race is happening. You've broken ground. You're ready for the task at hand, and you're on the move, and you're moving forward. And there's a certain type of mother figure. It could be a friend. It could be a friend that nurtures you like a mother. It could be a good mother figure. It could be that you didn't have an easy story with your biological mother, but Spirit has sent you strong women to have different components of being the mother medicine that you need. It also could have been, sometimes when we had a tough mother episode or story, it lets us develop how to be nurturing if we did not get that. Does that make sense to you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And looking at, Kate, what you love and what you mother, not smother, but that you want to put your folded wing over, the times that you've helped nurture something that was struggling. I think that's a strong gift of yours.
Okay, yeah. I it's so hard to process it all and be able to speak about it once I hear things like this. So I feel like I'm at a loss for words, but
we took your breath away, Kate.
We'll call
Spirit
back.
took your breath away.
Yeah,
we want you to call back. Joe and I like that.
Call back, because sometimes you'll get a reading and you'll be like, I was thinking about that reading and then this thing happened, and it's so crazy. That happens all the time, actually.
It does. And you don't, and here's this, Joe and I agree on this. You're not necessarily supposed to process it all right now. The speedy factor is that Spirit comes through really fast and it gives you all these things. I would gently suggest you go write it down. And that we've had people call us from 6 months ago, from another year, going, oh my God, like you said, I kind of took my breath away, took the words. I don't have words. It's just like, whoa, that hit fast and furious. May call back and go, and let me just tell you and Joe what that ended up being. Yeah.
Getting that mother energy.
do you feel like this is a person who is in my life now, this mother figure, or is this someone I'm going to meet?
Both. It's both.
Okay.
It's like you're doing the in-between, like you're extracting the best of what you needed to see and accept. They say accepting the pluses and the minuses of a mother figure is intense. It's really intense. The inner child's like, why'd you like them better than me? Why'd you leave my life so early? So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with our primal biological mom and dad stories. Even if they leave our life, even if they pass away young, or we don't get to know them, or we're adopted or in foster homes or whatever, that story of the mother and who comes in to play that and replace that in relationships, or somebody else's mother figure all of a sudden seems like, God, that seems like that's my mother. I know I had my mother, but so there's a lot of things that Spirit wants to show you through the matriarchal, the dynamic, nurturing, the comforter, the protector of the feminine sort that's coming into. And it may be that that's the type of female that you'll attract around you in your social life and your personal BFF type of a thing. It could be that the qualities that you are, that you respect, that you want to see come to life, if it doesn't come to life with your biological mother in the way, then it can be someone else that comes in. And I kind of look at it as it's the best of both.
Are you an Aquarius, by the way? Just curious.
No, but my mom is.
All right.
There you go. There's
No,
mom
I'm
again.
a Libra. Yeah, no, and I have my mom in my life, and I love her, but definitely there's some issues around my desire for motherly wisdom to be imparted to me, and a lack of that in our relationship, because my mom's a very naive person. She's very, very, very kind and wonderful, but there's definitely
feels like a
missing
mismatch
piece. Right.
Well, but
I
maybe
sometimes
in
feel
this
like
soul
we came in this time, and I was like, okay, you can be the mom this time.
I understand that.
Your soul contract might be you end up imparting wisdom to her, even though you're air quotes psychological role this lifetime and biological role was a daughter, she might be moving into an naive inner child phase right now, and you're the nurturer and you're the protector. If she's naive, you're going to come in as the warrior protector. But in your personal life, you may attract that running buddy or that person that you admire that like imparts the wisdom to you. I definitely don't believe that our biological mother, that sometimes we put too much expectations on that we need to take those preferences and say, I am manifesting some really great dynamic mother energy figures in my life, and all is well with my soul. My signature sign off all the time now that I'm really trying to, if I'm preaching anything, I'm preaching to my clients, whether I'm doing their astrological deep dive or doing my psychic intuitive work, is repeat after me, all is now well with my soul. On the mother issue, on our finances, when it starts to pest, all is now well with my soul. Thank you, Great Spirit. Holy Spirit, get involved, direct it all. All is now well with my soul. So I guess if I'm pumping the brakes on my own insecurity or my own, oh my God, that bill is so high, I can't believe the air conditioning broke in my car. All is now well with my soul and in my world, and I accept it and I receive it. Amen.
Call us back
Word
too
power.
once it hits. Once
you got to call us back, Kate. Got to call us back. You're Libra. We got to hear from the Libras. Got to hear from the Aries and the Libras in our future shows.
Well, right, like we just talked all about that mother stuff, but then I'm still thinking also about this Empress card about like whatever it is I'm supposed to be creating, which I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be creating, but I got some ideas like yesterday or the day before from some cool people, and so yeah, I'll call back and let you know.
Honey, those are seeds.
And
you just told Joe you're a Libra, and the Empress card I said it's got a lot of Libra energy, a
I
lot
know.
of Venus and Libra energy. So those are seeds. That reading is confirmation that your creative seeds and the cool people you were around, those are seeds that came into your life.
You're
honor
right.
that. Don't dump expectations on it.
You're right.
Just honor it. Just honor it and start the first move of it. That's all. You don't have to finish it. Just start the first bold move forward. Remember the race I saw?
Absolutely. Okay.
The horse is out of the gate. Yeah, the horse is out of the gate.
There you go.
Right.
Call us back, dang it. I want to hear the story.
Okay,
Kate's out of the
I will.
gate.
All right.
Kate's out of the gate.
All right. You have a good one. Thanks for calling. That one right there will I can tell is going to feel like a story that's going to come in, and it's going to be,
helpful medicine to all of us. Kate's story is going to end up like we've had with so many callers, so many loyal audience people. It's going to end up being a blessing way and a medicine bag for a lot.
Ari the cat says the things I want to say are so far out of the norm. Well, what is normal, man? I promise you, there's nothing that you can say that Mary and I can't handle. I guarantee that. 540 area code, last call of the night. Who are we speaking with?
Joe, this is Michael in Virginia. Hi, Mary.
Well, what's up, Michael?
Hello, Michael. Blessings.
Blessings to you. Very specific question. This is going to be on the ET abduction thing. Hasn't happened ever since my last abduction. We talked about this last time. They left a pattern of blood blisters and a needle mark on my left shoulder. Did some nerve damage, all healed. I woke up about a week ago, and my thumb joint on my left arm was totally jammed. I couldn't use my thumb. I couldn't use my the hand. 4 days later, there was from the joint, and I'm going to have to explain it to you like this, is like a tentacle came from the thumb joint all the way up. It went, and I was watching my arm. I could feel it. I was looking like, is it external, internal? Felt like it was under the skin, but above the muscles. It went up through a forearm, and my arm is slightly bent, so it bypassed my elbow. Then it went back into the bicep, my bicep, all the way up to the area where I had the blood blisters and the needle mark, spread out. It was sort of like feeling around. Then it retracted and went back down to my thumb joint.
Instead of an implant, Michael, it feels like that you're literally feeling. People sometimes it's palatable and they feel it. Other people dream it. and other people come back scratching their head, goes, I know it was real, just don't have all the details of it. You are a detail person. Gemini has a lot to do with how we reach into or push away things with our hands. It's the respiratory system, but it also has to do with when you talk about Aries is the head and Taurus is the throat chakra, and Gemini comes across that chest, and it's the arms, it's the shoulders and the arms, and especially the hands, where Pisces is the feet, Gemini is the hands. So the thumb, the finger joints, the feeling things going up through the sinew and the tendons of our body. The blood blisters is absolutely an alchemical cleansing and a purging and anti-parasitic. And I feel like that the pressure and the release on the shoulders is saying to you, in your 3D life, Michael, there are components that you've been shouldering too long, that you're going through out-of-body higher, perhaps, intelligence and technologies that are saying that you are literally experiencing what the old term from the English mediums that taught me in my teens, the old term is psychic surgery. So you're literally feeling it and sensing it, going, damn, this is the way I know this is real. I couldn't make this crap up if I wanted to. What I would do is I would say, I am transformed as a being of light. I am one with light, and any kind of otherworldly, extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial, spiritual procedures, alignments, upgrades are now going to be the levels of light, harmony, and bliss. So you're going to direct it that it doesn't have to be jam-ups or non-functioning or the blood blisters. You've seen it.
Whoa.
You've experienced it. You don't need anybody else's approval or validation of it, but you are going to say, okay, I know this is real, and now I'm going to allow it to be my Merkaba, my moving soul body. I'm going to allow the diamond white crystal of the Merkaba energies to now be my communication and to be my alchemy, and none of it will be with any kind of physical shock and awe. I don't need that. I don't need anything to be a handicap or a hindrance. I allow myself to be fully embodied with the light, and I allow my transformations to be in harmony and in bliss, and I accept that, and I'm one with that. That's kind of what they're telling me to tell you.
Okay, so, because this was, I was awake when it was happening, so basically what you're saying is,
You've shifted.
I'm openly one with, I'm shifting, or shifted.
You've shifted. You're not shifting. You shifted. So now it doesn't have to be the shock and awe of the physical sensations or pains or hindrances like the jammed thumb and all of that. Now it's like, I don't need those to be my attention getters. I witnessed it. It happened. I felt it. Now I am claiming, as one with the divine light, I'm now claiming that I'm in my leveling up, upgraded, evolutionary, empowered self, and I allow the communication. I can do automatic writing. I can receive the messages in my dreams. It does not need to be happening to my physical earth temple. My earth temple is one with the divinity of light. It is an ongoing alchemy. I do not need to have attention-getting things on my physical earth temple. I now allow myself to receive the direct messages, and if there is any ill-intended or thwarted experimentation for the humor of any other kind of intelligence that I happen to be visited by in any kind of abduction experience, those doors are closed, and the divine intelligence, which only wishes to enhance me and empower me, is the only thing that can come toward me. Amen. Aho. That.
Simple
Okay,
enough.
so basically, okay.
That's how,
I
that's how you
kind of
shifted,
don't know where to
Michael.
put this. Huh?
You've shifted, Michael.
What?
You're just going to have to accept it. You don't have to have the oh my God, you don't have to have, why is this happening to me? And this is so fascinating. You got to divorce all that, because that can bring in the other type of alien races that like to use some people as like their guinea pig rats or their lab rats or their lab animals. You've shifted. You've been there, done that, and it's like, no, I'm so beyond that. I don't want to be stymied or stagnant in that. I now allow myself to receive the divine intuition and the divine directions and the divine dimensions so that it serves a higher, greater good for myself as well as others that would hear the transformational stories. It's like they're shifting you into being a person that's more of a teacher that doesn't have to get the attention of the audience with the weird things that happen to your bodies, like implants and people feeling like they're raised up from their cars and missing time. I've studied the UFO thing for a long, long time, and I'm just simply going to go back to you're shifted. You've shifted, and it's in a good way.
Yeah, shift happens. It just happens.
Well, I had this dream.
I love that shift happens. What's that guy's name that does that show? I like him.
Oh,
Shift
Gigi.
Happens. What's his name? Yeah, Gigi. Hi, Gigi. You came into the Gemini show, Gigi.
Yeah.
Accept
I had
it,
this
Michael,
dream,
and now be. Go ahead.
I had this dream. I was talking to this woman. It was like today, like because I nap sometimes during the day and nighttime. It's just whenever. And I was her little boy was being taken away from her and her husband, and I was talking to her about why she punished or tortured the little boy, and they stabbed him and cut him up. And this is in a dream, but it was very vivid. I mean, I was literally telling she had these glasses on. I said, "You look very cute with your glasses. Why did you do what you did to your son? Why would you do something like that?" And and she answered me. It was like you and I talking right now. And then once I got her to say what it was, everything sort of, the dream stopped. So what I asked
You're
later
doing astral work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was told. It was out of body. It was going to her astral, my astral, and what was going on. So, okay, I'll just move on from that.
You're trying to be a soul doula, like you're doing astral work, and in the astral plane, the etheric plane is higher. In certain levels, if you study Casey's work, Edgar Casey's work, in the astral plane, it's where we have both nightmares, prophecy dreams, healing dreams, but there's also the incubus and the succubus. So it's like people that are caught in some of the tortures that they've done and all that. It's like, how did you get so fractured? How did you get so broken? Why did you want to visit pain and suffering upon another being? That got you here. You're stuck. You're stuck. You look cute with your glasses on, but you don't see. So you're like going out there as some kind of nurse in the astral or doctor trying to help other people get the psychic surgery and get themselves unstuck. That's noble work, but be careful that you don't get sucked in.
Yeah.
Aim for the etheric. Aim for the etheric. Like you cut to the chase, you see the woman with the glasses, you get the vision that they tortured the son, and you claim the light, and you say, your soul is released, the boy is forever protected, any fractures or fault lines or earthquakes emotionally that happen to that child, I call in the light. You become almost like the shaman of the soul rather than fascinated by the details of the story. Does that make sense? Level up. Level up. Move faster. Move faster through the stories.
All right. There you go.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Mary,
That's intense.
we got to wrap it up. What's
Thank you,
the wrap up message for the night?
Find your passion. Know that there are mechanics involved in that. Be aware of your words. The mechanics of the passion is that if we have a passion for something or someone, there's a purpose to it. There's a map. There's a purpose. There's a treasure hunt. Find the privilege of discovering your passion rather than your pain, and understand that passion is a privilege. And don't make promises unless it's going to be the privilege that blesses the both of you. So on this Gemini word salad new moon, it's about the P words. If you want peace, and the peace that passeth all understanding, start to get a better knowledge about the privilege of why a certain passion or a certain pursuit is calling you. Rebuke the pain out of that journey of the passion and the pursuit and the privilege of experiencing the peace of that passion, and accept that you are privileged, that you will be privileged, and that you will pay it back in prosperous ways. So this is the letter P. This new moon has got the letter P to it. Find I am, and what's your P word that comes right out after that.
And I want to send a big shout out, happy birthday to all you Geminis. Bryce, I feel bad. Bryce is a really good friend of mine, and his birthday was yesterday, and I talked to him for, I don't know, probably 4 hours. Didn't even say happy birthday. What kind of
Happy
friend
birthday,
does
Bryce.
that? But I'm telling you now, happy birthday, brother.
Because
I
the
love
words
you.
are going out through the air. The words are going out into the ethers, and they're happy birthday to Bryce. Happy birthday to Bryce. Major blessings on this new year. Prosperity, peace, and love to our Bryce. There you go.
Yeah. Fysick in the chat. Thanks, Ari, for the super chat, Brad for the super chat, and Georgiana for the super chat. We'll be back next new moon. We try to get as close as we can to on the day, so it'll be the day of the moon as close as we possibly can to it. It kind of landed perfectly this time. So
It really did. And I can tell you the next one lands on a Wednesday on the 25th of June.
Yeah, 25th of June. All
That
right.
works with your schedule. Yeah, if that works for your schedule. That's when it happens. The new moon in the sign of the moon at 4 degrees of Cancer the Crab. Ooh-wee, the tides have changed. The oceans and the dreams. Boy, our dreams are going to get strong. And this next full moon in Sagittarius, it's the final one of the Ascended Master's moon. They start with Libra, and that's got to do with forgiveness and balance of our anger. And anger and the loss. The next one was the Buddha moon, Wesak, which has to do with letting go of attachments. And then we have the Ascended Masters Festival of Goodwill, which is the full moon 2 weeks from now in the sign of Sagittarius. Aim those bow and arrows high for the highest light and the highest star that you see in the heavens. Right now, because of the constellations, we've got this Gemini thing happen near the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, the magical muses. And so this is about getting the word out, being true to your word, and knowing that the stars and the moon and the sun are happy right now. Go with God. Start the new changes.
Or make sure you guys go get a reading from Mary if you haven't. And then I want to hear about how great it was, too. You can email the show. You can always email the show, too, at lightingthevoid@gmail.com. That I'll get that email. But go to Mary's website at marydusina.com. That's MaryDusina, marydusina.com. Get your reading. Let me know how it went. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Love you. Thanks, Mary.
Yep. Thanks, Jim.
When I